Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to day 4 of 100 Days of Poetry with me, Crystal Long. This afternoon, I had planned a different type of poem for this afternoon, but unfortunately, yesterday, the 27th of April, Ireland had lost one of its most prominent and celebrated female poets. So, in tribute to the late Eavan Boland, I have selected one of her pieces of poetry that is world renowned for you this afternoon. And just a bit of a background to those of you outside of Ireland, or those of you who do not know who Eavan Boland was. Eavan Boland was an Irish poet, author, and she was a professor at Stanford University. And as I understand it, she headed up and rolled out the creative writing program in Stanford University and became the designated professor of that program. Her work through poetry and through other literary works that she has produced deals with the Irish national identity and the role of women in Irish history. A number of poems from Boland's poetry career are studied by Irish students who take the Leaving Cert exams every year, which happens in second level or secondary education here in Ireland. She has been the recipient of many poetry awards, including the Lannan Literary Award for Poetry, which is one of the world's most prestigious awards for poetry. The poem I've selected already has been out in the media, out in the public domain already since the heartbreaking news of her death just yesterday, where she unfortunately died of a stroke. And I like to dedicate this to all our Irish diaspora across the world, and indeed to all Irish people here who know this great poem by Eavan Boland. And this piece of poem I wasn't going to read myself until next week, but because of the unfortunate death of the poet, I decided to bring it forward a bit now. So the poem is titled Quarantine, and it is a non-traditional love poem about a husband and wife who are forced to move north during the Irish potato famine. And the Irish potato famine has been a black stain in Ireland's history, and this happened or took place around 1847. The poem was published in Boland's new collection of poems, which was published again in 2008. And this, in short, is a poem about a man and his wife who leave their home because the wife suddenly became ill due to the famine fever that was going around in Ireland in the 1840s, and particularly 47. The couple, they leave on a wintry night, walking on frigid temperatures. The next morning, the husband and wife are found dead of cold and hunger. From the way the couple were positioned, it was obvious that the man had succumbed first to death, dying with his wife's feet in his hands. He had perished trying to provide heat to a sick wife. This poem is not only a documentation of the horrors of the Irish potato famine, but it is also a love poem showcasing that love is not always proven by what are considered to be traditional romantic gestures. And I do hope you enjoy. So this is Quarantine by Eavan Boland. In the worst hour of the worst season of the worst year of a whole people, a man set out from the workhouse with his wife. He was walking, they were both walking north. She was sick with famine fever and could not keep up. He lifted her and put her on his back. He walked like that, west and north, until at nightfall, under freezing stars, they arrived. In the morning, they were both found dead of cold, of hunger, of the toxins of a whole history. But her feet were held against his breastbone. The last heat of his flesh was his last gift to her. Let no love poem ever come to this threshold. There is no place here for the inexact. Praise of the easy graces and sensuality of the body. There is only time for this merciless inventory. Their death together in the winter of 1847, also what they suffered, how they lived. And there is between a man and woman, in which darkness it can be best be proved. I hope you enjoy that, and as always, I look forward to your likes and your comments below. Thank you.